What's good, everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley from MatthewMaley.com. Well, week 13 of the NFL officially has just ended, so I wanted to do a quick video recapping both the games of the week as well as my fantasy teams, and hopefully hear how you guys' fantasy teams are doing and if you made that playoff run. So first off, we'll start with the actual action. That sounds weird. And started off with the real NFL games. And I wanted to do an overall, because this was a pretty crazy week. There were some games that I really did not see coming, as well as a couple that I was real excited about. So first off, saw a few upsets. What happened with the Raiders? They just did not show up against Miami. I think at one point it was like 30 to 1 to nothing or something, 27 to nothing. It was bad. It was really bad. They ended up scoring a couple touchdowns, but that was horrible. And another game I really wasn't expecting is the Falcons went into Houston and it put up a lame duck of a game. They were down to their third. The Texans were down to their third string quarterback, and the Falcons lost. The same Falcons team that, looked impenetrable last year and actually looked pretty solid this year. I was really surprised about that as well. There were some games you expected. The Steelers were able to take down the Bengals, handled them pretty easily. The Ravens took down the Browns pretty easily as well. So shout out to my Ravens. Big win there. I was happy about it. I know it doesn't seem like a big win, but any of those four teams in that division really doesn't matter if they're winning or losing. At any given time, they can come through and lay a smackdown on any of the other team in that division. So that was always a big game, even if it doesn't seem like it. So big win by the Ravens. That's what's up. As well, poor Colts still can't win a game. They held tough with the Patriots. I don't think the game was as close as the final score ended up indicating. Final score was 31-24. But Patriots, they definitely handled them a little bit better than that. But still, Colts are hanging around. They just can't seem to put a win together. I officially think that they are going to take Robert Griffin III if they continue losing out from here. I personally think that. And then the Monday night game was pretty craptastic. It was kind of close through the first quarter, and then San Diego just put a whooping on the Jags and crushed them pretty well. Then we got to my favorite game of the week, which, actually, you know what, first. Now, let's mention one other game. It hurts me to say this because I'm not a fan of him for multiple reasons. But I will give props to Tim Tebow for a very good game against Minnesota. It probably shouldn't have even been as close as it was, but they were playing Minnesota at home, so playing in the Metrodome isn't easy. But shout out to Tim Tebow and the Broncos for also their defense. Nobody's really giving the props to their defense, but Broncos defense are really what's keeping Tim Tebow in the game to even have a chance to come back. But I really was not expecting much, and I will say that the Broncos have impressed me. So is Tim Tebow. He just has that it factor, that winning just pulse going through his veins, and if you're close at the end, put the ball in his hand and good things can happen. So shout out to him. Still don't like him as a player or as a person, but he's doing his thing. And then comes to the best game of the year for me. Cardinals have really been turning it around. Started off horribly, but I will say we've turned it around a little bit. The last few games, we've been playing up to our competition instead of down to our competition. And I've been really feeling pretty confident. And then we got a good test with the Cowboys coming to town. And anybody who's ever been to a Cardinals game or ever been to Arizona even knows how many Cowboys fans there are in Arizona. We all know the Cowboys are one of the bandwagon teams. They're called America's team. That's going to bring some bandwagon fans. But if you go to a Cardinals game, even a normal Cardinals game, not playing the Cowboys, just a random Cardinals game, there's usually a good number of people wearing a Cowboys jersey. I don't know why. Maybe it's just that mentality of, I'm at a football game, so I'm going to wear a football jersey. Stop doing that. If one of the two teams isn't playing there, don't wear their jersey. Ugh, hate that shit. It's one of my pet peeves. I have a lot of pet peeves about jerseys, as corny as that is. But, so it's always a big game when the Cowboys come to town because there's usually at least as many Cowboys fans, if not more, than Cardinals fans. And since the Cardinals have gone on a little bit of a run lately, it's evened out a little bit, but not enough at all. So it's almost as like a home game for the Cowboys. So it's always a big deal if the Cardinals can take the game. And just the amount of garbage that is talked by all my friends on Facebook. Shout out to my homegirl Stephanie and all her family, diehard Cowboys fans, and we've gone back and forth for a lot of years since I was about this big. This big. Had to show the camera there. So it's always been fun going back and forth with them, but it's cool seeing everything posted up on Facebook, and I gotta say, Cowboys fans are notorious for counting their chickens before they hatched, for putting the cart before the horse, for any of those other sayings, for getting a little too cocky, a little too early. Cowboys fans are probably the absolute worst in the world next to Yankees fans, for always assuming they're going to win. And there's a difference between being confident in your team, which I understand. There's a reason I picked the Cardinals every single week in my football pool. Even when they were playing, the Ravens, I picked them. Even when they're playing any other top-level team, I still pick them because I have confidence in my team. But there's a difference between being confident and being arrogant, between being cocky, between being full of yourself, between being a little douchebaggy. And I got to say that the Cowboys fall in that category more times than not. So, and I always know the Cardinals against the Cowboys is kind of like the Browns playing the Steelers or the Browns playing the Ravens. No matter what each team's record is, at any given day, the team that's the underdog can win. And they can't just win, they can murder the other team. So you always have to be expecting a pretty good game. And we got one. Now, it wasn't a pretty game by any means. I'm not saying that it was. I'm not saying that the Cardinals looked good by any means. I'm not saying that the Cardinals should have won this game. But at the end of the day, I want to read you some of the stats here. At the end of the day, all that was necessary took place. And Cobb didn't have a great game. 246 yards, 16 of 25 with one touchdown. Decent. Beanie Wells, he's been getting a lot more carries lately. Ended up averaging about 3 yards per carry. 20 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to Andre Roberts. He had a great game. 6 catches for 115 yards. Really solid game. On the other side, Tony Romo went 28 for 42 for 299 and a touchdown. DeMarco Murray, good job defense, 12 carries for 38 yards. And then finally, Dez Bryant had 8 receptions for 86 yards and a touchdown. So overall, a pretty good defensive effort from the Cardinals, definitely. We ended up with Jay Feely. Shout out to him. He got a couple field goals that really helped. And it actually was a field goal game. Their kicker, Dan Bailey, got a couple as well as Dez Bryant got a touchdown and Beanie got a touchdown. So we were all tied up, and ended up, ball was sadly within range for Cowboys to kick a field goal. And after they already mismanaged the clock like crazy, at the end of the game, there was a play where they had a touchdown. They had a touchdown. I'm sorry. They had a timeout. And they run all the way down the field with the clock running to spike the ball. Made no sense. So they ended up wasting like 45 seconds off the clock and then spiked the ball. It was asinine. And then to make things even better, they bring their field goal kicker out there, right? And he lines it up and he kicks it up. It goes through the uprights and it's good with 3 seconds left. Cowboys are going to win the game. And then you look around and, oh, was there a whistle? Oh, what happened? Oh, Jason Garrett, the Cowboys coach, called a timeout. He iced his own kicker. What? When have you ever heard of that? He iced his own kicker. Well, whatever. It's Dan Bailey. He's a beast, right? Comes back out, lines up I think it was like a 44-yarder. And, ba-doom, flubs it. Not far enough. Wide left. Going to overtime. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then in overtime, my boy, the hyphen, LaRon Stevens Howling, my dude on a, 52-yard pass from Mr. Kevin Kolb, runs it in for a touchdown to win the game. Ended up total was 19-13, and that's how we do. And I gotta tell you how wonderful it was making that post up on Facebook, rubbing it in all the faces, all the Cowboys fans. And I'm a very gracious winner. But I will say to all you Cowboys fans, be prepared. If you talk all that mess, spit all that yaya bourgeois, better realize that when I'm gonna come back at you, I'm gonna come back. I'm a very, very, very gracious winner. To any of you people who didn't talk any mess about the Cardinals, I didn't say anything to you. But if you was making posts up on Facebook talking about yada yada yada, Cardinals suck, I'm coming at you. Just be fair warned. Realize that. I defend my team. So, now that we got that out the way, I know this is going to be a long video. I apologize. We'll get to the fantasy. But one more thing I wanted to touch on real quick. And this goes to something that happened over the weekend and really brings up kind of a dilemma regarding free agency. Now, it's been well publicized that this past year, the Eagles brought in everybody, literally. They signed more free agents than you could possibly sign. Spent all kinds of money. One of the people that didn't get spent upon was DeSean Jackson, their very good receiver and incredibly good kick returner and punt returner. Well, for whatever reason, they wanted to do the wait and see approach for him. Wanted to give him another season, see how he did. If he performed well, pay him then. Well, it's tough to do when you're part of the family, and in fact, you're the actual kid of the family, and your parents are getting all these adopted kids brand new Bentleys and Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces, and they look at you and say, "Nah, son, go walk to the bus station." That's got to be tough to see. I understand that. But in the same sense, I also understand being patient and performing to the best of your ability to show to your parents that you deserve that. Not going and slashing the tires of all your boys' cars and talking mess about your parents, whatever. That isn't what you should do. You got to be professional. I understand being frustrated, but what better way to boost up your price and make them look bad is if you go out and have an all-pro type of season, and so now they got to pay double to get you, or another team get you. That's what you should do. Well, DeSean Jackson didn't do that, and he's been huffing and puffing and complaining the whole season, which, like I said, I understand, but he's been going about it definitely the wrong way. So, which is definitely going to hurt him when it comes time to re-sign him to a deal, whether it be with Philly or another team, because they're going to see this. And they're going to see how bad his attitude's been, how bad his production's been, and all that. So, that's one way that you can deal with things. There's the holdout way. Chris Johnson very famously did that. Got paid out the ass. But guess what? This past season, he needed almost half the season to get back in shape because he held out from training camp for so long. And then there is the very stand-up and respectable way to do it, a la Matt Forte, running back for the Chicago Bears. He didn't get his deal. Didn't get his new contract. They offered him a deal for like $6 million. He said nah, because the top running backs are making damn near 10. So I understand that. But now comes that sports question that has been discussed by everybody from Skip Bayless to Stephen A. Smith to everybody else on First Take to Mike and Mike to Around the Horn to Pardon the Interruption. He got injured. And while it didn't end up being as big of an injury as it was thought, there was thought that it might have been a torn ACL and possibly MCL. He does have a sprained MCL that could keep him out for 2 to 6 weeks. Not as bad as it could be, but whatever. Now it raises the question of, is he going to get paid what he deserves by the Bears now that he's been injured? And let's just play devil's advocate for a minute. Let's say that he had gotten severely injured. Let's say that he had torn his MCL, his ACL, his meniscus. Let's say he was going to be out for 8 months to the next year. Then what? And if you listen to Stephen A. Smith on First Take today, he said unequivocally, that's why you hold out. If you listen to Skip Bayless, he said unequivocally, you play for your contract, the team will reward you. I don't know where I stand on that. I don't like seeing people hold out, but in the same sense, I also don't like seeing somebody busting his ass for a team and getting injured to not even get anything. I really think one of the solutions for this is some sort of guaranteed contracts. I know that's not possible because this is football. People sign $100 billion offers and then 2 years later renegotiate because you don't have any guaranteed money. But there's got to be some way to appease both sides, to maybe cut down on the guaranteed money, but at least still have there be something to where players aren't going to hold out to make sure that they're paid, what their family can eat for that year. Now, I'm not trying to pull out some Latrell Sprewell BS. I mean, legitimately, when you look at some of these players playing on their rookie contracts, they're not making much. You come in as a 7th-round rookie, you ain't making much compared to a Jamarcus Russell or something. So that's definitely an issue, little moral sports dilemma. So let me know what you guys think. Weigh in on the topic and which side do you guys fall on? Do you fall on the holdout? Do you fall on the play your ass off and hope the team rewards you? So that's all we're going to talk about for fantasy this week. And damn Bears, really, y'all lost? I understand you're out with Cutler, and I understand that Forte got injured, but come on, Chiefs son? Damn. So now we're going to go to fantasy, and I got some exciting news in fantasy. But first off, we're going to start with the not as exciting news. Sadly, I was not able to go 6-0 as I was hoping. As you guys know from my pro league, I went 2-0 there, and I had a potential. My one league that I'm leading in first, we were on bye. It was the first week of the playoffs, so I'm going to count that as a win. Just for fun, I'm going to count that as a win, especially because I scored 139 points, second most to anybody else in the league. So we're going to take that as a win. So I'm saying right there, I'm 3-0 now, as there was only 2 games for the first round of the playoffs. So we'll say that made me 3-0. Then we go over here to the league that I had an 11-game losing streak win, and I won. That's right. I actually scored 122 points, 122 to 98 against my boy Miles. And what? My boy Adam Miles. He's my dude. But ended up, got a good run from Tom Brady, scored 24. Good run from Chris Johnson, scored me 28. And then after that, it was just 9-9, 12, 4, 6, 6. Thankfully, he only had a good game from Tim Tebow, got him 21. And Darren Sproles got him 15. Other than that, didn't do too well. So, took down Adam, which is always nice. We got a good rivalry going back and forth. He's a cool cat, so it's always cool to get a win up against Mr. Miles. So right there, your boy's 4-0. That's right. All right. So then we go to the Barrows League, we call it, even though nobody from Barrows really works there anymore. But this is the league I was hoping to get into the playoffs. And I was needing some help in this league because we was running into some issues, if you will. I was really needing some help. My lights flickering. Might lose that. But I needed to win as well as have 2 other people lose in order to make the playoffs. So I did my part first off. I won 90 to 68. Not a great score, but hey, I got the win. Got 23 from Stafford, 21 from Arian, as well as 12 from Stevie Johnson, and that was about it. 9 from the Falcons and kind of a bunch of crap other than that. Had Matthews on my bench, scored 17. And I went up against Carson Palmer and Baltimore's defense. That was really about it. So I got the win there, and then thankfully, the other 2 games that had to happen happened. So I made the playoffs. I made it in as the 6th team out of 10. So I'm in last place out of the playoffs. But whatever, I'm going up against the 3rd place team. They're called the man card. I'm the rounders. So they're favored by 3.5 points. But hey, anything can happen. All you got to do is get to the playoffs and get hot. So right there, your boy's 5-0 going into the last game. Going into the last game, your boy actually was up. He was holding the lead. He was feeling good about it. He had a 35-point performance from Chris Johnson, had 19 from Ben Roethlisberger, 14 from Dez Bryant, 11 from the Jets defense. I was feeling good. Sucked I had Pierre Garçon sitting on my bench, which would have been 32, but whatever. I was feeling all right. Now, all I had to do was keep Maurice Jones-Drew from going off, and I was going to win, and this is the league I'm 3-9 in, so it didn't matter. But hey, I was looking to go 6-0, just like I predicted last week, right? And then Maurice Jones-Drew went off. He didn't even go off that much, but he got 2 more points than I could have him get. And I ended up losing 105 to 103. And worse than that, I lost to my boy, who's my boss. So now I got to deal with that garbage when I get to work tomorrow. But neither one of us were playing for anything. He's 4-7. I was 3-9. So it really didn't matter at the end of the day. But just sucks. It would have been nice to ended up going 6-0 like I predicted. Wow. Hope you guys can see the strobe light. I'm going to be curious to see what this looks like. This light's flashing like crazy. You know what? Hold up. Let's just turn this joint off. But anyway, it ended up being a 5-1 week. Well, really it was like a 4-1 with a bye, but I'm taking that as a win. So hey, you know what? I'm happy about it. Good way to end the season. A couple of those leagues which are now done, but getting ready for the playoffs in the other two leagues. Hopefully going to go on a good run and take down both of those leagues. That'd be pretty solid. Could make some pretty good money. First place in the one league is about 500. The other one I think is like 250. So it'd be pretty solid if I could take that. I'm just happy to make the playoffs. Hopefully I can make my money back in both of them at least, and then start trying to make some loot. So got to win that wild card game in the other league first, and I think I'm on bye again next week. It might not be. Maybe we're going, but I'm top seed, so I should be going against the bottom seed, and hopefully I'll do better than last year in that league. So we'll see what happens. What about you guys? How did your fantasy teams do? Anybody running well in first place? Did you sneak into the playoffs like I did thanks to some miracles from the fantasy gods or what? Let me know. Curious to see how you guys are doing. Also, let me know what some of your fantasy team names are. I'm always curious to see some of that. There's some really creative names out there, and there's some real basic names. Mine's pretty basic. We're just the Rounders. Rounders is my favorite movie, so I figure that works. So it's pretty simple, but I've seen some pretty fun ones out there. Like my boy Adam, instead of friends with benefits, he's friends with Cobb and Fitz for the Cardinals. I like it. Some people in the league was clowning on him for it, but I like it. So let me know what you guys got. And still, throw me your favorite teams. Let me know how you guys doing. Let me know what you guys are looking at going over to the playoffs. Anybody, what you thinking for Super Bowl picks? Anybody putting some loot down on it? Packers is looking good. What do you guys think? They're going to run the table? Anyway, lots of questions. Throw them all down in the comments or send me an email back or post a response video. I apologize this video went so long, but we had so much to talk about this week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know what you guys think of the recap. And until the next video, it's your boy Matthew Maley from MatthewMaley.com signing off. But as always, before I go, got to shout out the rest of the ways to get a hold of me. Check out the rest of my videos up on YouTube. If you're not up on there right now, search for MatthewMaley.com. You can look for all the rest of my videos. Everything's up on there. There's like 180 videos. I would love it. If you have some time to kill, watch some of the videos. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe like them. Leave me a little comment. And of course, subscribe to your channel, to your boy's channel. I appreciate it. Try to get videos out at least a couple times a week, so always got new stuff popping up. Of course, you can follow your boy on Twitter, @MatthewMaley. Always popping stuff up about sports and all kinds of random stuff. It's my random stream of conscience right there. And then, of course, up on Facebook is my more in-depth stream of conscience, if you will. And you can search for your boy there. Search for Matthew Maley Poker. And then, of course, MatthewMaley.com. He's finally back in the business. Gonna be putting up a bunch of new stuff up there. Got some t-shirts popping up. Got some special stuff going. So keep checking in there. We're gonna be running some contests. Gonna be running some fan appreciation stuff. And who knows? We might even put up a Ustream next time we get a little card game going, or next time I'm at a concert or something. We got some stuff in the works. Got a couple interviews popping up as well next time I'm in Vegas. So we're doing big things. But till the next time, it's your boy Matthew Maley from MatthewMaley.com. Thanks again for all the support, everybody. And till the next video, peace out, and hope everybody has a good week. Got some good football this weekend, so hopefully next week keeps it up as well. And on that note, I'm gone, y'all. Peace out.